This is Caring for Kids on News Talk 760 WJR, presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. And here's your host, President and CEO of the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, Larry Burns.
Thanks, Mark. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Caring for Kids for October. Tonight, we'll discuss a variety of issues concerning the health and wellness of children locally, regionally, and nationally. We have a great lineup. Joining us tonight will be President Scott Killingbeck of the Festival of Trees and the Administrator Theresa Diefenbach from the Festival of Trees as well. John James, Republican candidate for the United States Senate, will be here. And Mark Smith, Chief Marketing Officer of Northwestern Mutual. It's all coming up next on Caring for Kids, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Larry Burns here, Caring for Kids, and it's almost the holiday season, and my favorite part of the holidays is our Festival of Trees. Festival of Trees is a volunteer-led organization dedicated to supporting medical research at the Children's Hospital of Michigan, and today we have the President, Scott Killingbeck, and Administrator Theresa Diefenbach. They're right here in the studio with me. We're going to talk about the festival and some of the great things they've done over the years. So I'll start with Theresa, since we'll start with ladies. Is that all right?
That's fine.
So our listeners who are not as familiar as we are with Festival of Trees, tell us a little bit more about the organization.
We are one of the largest fundraisers for the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, and it's our 34th year.
And historically, I think you are the largest.
Let's go with we're the largest now, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, we're pretty excited. It's our 34th year raising funds for pediatric research, and basically everything we do is for the kids, just like you guys do.
And how did you get started?
Way back in the day, Festival of Trees got started from a wonderful group called the Tennis and Crumpets.
Okay.
And back then, they were raising funds while they were having tennis clubs and all that. And they got to thinking, how could they raise funds throughout the year for the kids? They actually attended the Festival of Trees in Atlanta, Georgia, and thought it was amazing. And how could they do that here? They approached Cobo Hall, and that was where the actual very first one in 1985 started. And it became a tradition since then.
Exactly. And when I worked at Children's from 87 to 90, Festival of Trees was really, really emerging as the leading organization that you are still today. So that's resilience. That's great efforts. And so thank you, Theresa. Scott, the Festival of Trees raises funds to support what is now known as the Evergreen Endowment.
Yes, it does.
Which supports pediatric research, as I mentioned, for Children's Hospital and their academic partners. And how did pediatric research become the primary focus of support versus maybe capital improvements or things like that?
One of the founding fathers of Festival of the Trees came out and told me on a phone call a couple weeks ago, the reason why they wanted to do pediatric research is because the fact that way they know that it would better the community. Capital improvements, anybody can fund a capital improvement, but this was an ongoing thing to improve the city of Detroit and the children of Detroit and metropolitan Detroit.
Well, and pediatric research is so important because it's not only, as you mentioned, capital improvements are great, equipment is great, but it gets old. But when you're funding research, you're really providing a bright future for kids because the research makes breakthrough disease-related outcomes that can really change things forever. So that pediatric research may not sometimes be as, in essence, sexy as buying a new piece of equipment, but in many ways, it's the most important type of investment.
And we also this year decided, the board of directors, to start funding the research center for their equipment when they need to purchase equipment.
Yeah, and you're referring to the Children's Research Center of Michigan, and that's something that's very important. We are deeply appreciative of that. And so, Theresa, we all know that pediatric research, as we talked about, to develop better diagnosis, treatment of diseases, that impact not only children of Detroit and Michigan, but maybe children all over the world. And so what kind of projects does the festival, Scott mentioned the Children's Research Center, but what other projects over the years has the funds
One of the
supported?
biggest ones that we're supremely proud of is when we were able to get a large donation of $50,000 from Myers, and it was to fund the PET scanner at the hospital,
Okay.
which has done amazing things for kids all over the world.
Yes, absolutely. And so I know Children's has been a leader in that type of research and diagnostic treatment. And so as we get ready for the holidays, and we're talking to the leaders of the Festival of Trees that supports Children's Hospital of Michigan and the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, Scott Killingbeck and Theresa Diefenbach, and we're talking to them about not only the history of the Festival of Trees, but we're talking now, maybe even more importantly, about the upcoming 34th Annual Festival of Trees. So give us, Theresa, some details about that.
Oh, we are very excited about it this year. We have more trees than we've had probably in the last 10 years. Our designers have gone way above and beyond to want to be on board this year. It seems as if our event, where we're located at the Ford Community Performing Arts Center, is so local and easy for everyone to get to.
It's a great facility.
Good parking and everything that, and I think it's also due in part because of our new president, Scott Killingbeck, that came back on, because he's got such an amazing rapport with everybody, and that our designers they noticed it especially last year, that, oh my God, we just love him and love being a part of this, and has brought so much joy to the event. It's even made it more exciting to be a part of it.
It certainly is. And it's last year I went, the year before I went, and so it's great. Tell us not only where it is, which you mentioned, but the dates and the things that the people need to know that are listening to this show.
All right. So Festival of Trees 2018 is going to take place November 18th through the 25th. And then on the Saturday, November 17th, is when our Black Tie Preview Gala takes place. And there's 2 levels of tickets. There's VIP tickets, open doors at 6:30, and then we have the patron tickets, which is doors at 7:30. And tickets are available now on our website at FOT.org.
FOT.org.
Yes.
Excellent. And I'm looking forward to being there, me and my wife Judy, at the preview. And so we're looking forward to that. And we're also looking forward to possibly buying some more trees. So last year, the foundation bought some trees. So tell the public about, you're actually able to buy the trees, right?
Absolutely. We have some trees that are already pre-sponsored, but there's always trees for sale, and there is a multitude of varieties for something for everyone's taste. In addition to the trees, we have a festive gift shop. We have tabletop trees, wreaths, centerpieces, kids' activities. Lego comes in and does this huge city. We are actually bringing back the Detroit Historical Museum, bringing in their huge train set again, which has always been very, very popular with the kids. There's something for everyone there, and I just say come on out.
Great.
For the general admission, it's only $5 for adults, $3 for kids, and under 2 is free. For $20, a family of 4 can come in and still have a few dollars left to spend at the event.
Yeah, so wonderful. So I look forward to seeing you there. 34th Annual Festival of Trees benefiting the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation for pediatric research that's going to do some wonderful things now and in the future. So Scott, Therese, thank you for all you do throughout the year.
Thank
I know
you.
it's a year-round effort. And coming up next, we're going to hear from John James, Republican candidate for the United States Senate. And that's when Caring for Kids continues right here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR, presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation.
John James is a Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate. He is a husband, a father, a combat veteran, and a businessman. At 17, John made the decision to serve his country. After graduating from West Point in 2004, John became a Ranger-qualified aviation officer. I believe that means he flew helicopters. After 8 years of service to our nation, he was honorably discharged and returned to Michigan to work in the family business, James Group International, where he is currently the company's president. In addition to his Bachelor of Science from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, John James earned a Master's of Supply Chain Management and Information Systems from Penn State University and a Master's in Business Administration from the University of Michigan. Today, as I mentioned, John James is a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. John, you're a father of 2 young sons. They're under the ages of 5. And the challenges facing our young people are greater than ever. And how do you think things have changed for your sons compared to when you were a young boy? And what's the best thing we can do to support youngsters?
Well, I actually think that it's much harder for them than it was for me. I was raised back in a time where everybody was entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts. Now, everybody's entitled to their own facts, but not their own opinion. I think that we need to do a much, much better job of creating an environment where kids are able to learn and to grow. And I think that the school system has failed too many of our children, where curiosity is destroyed in favor of compliance. We need to have school environments and areas where kids can go and learn, not necessarily focus on just achievement, but on actually learning the course material so that they can grow into responsible, productive adults. I think that we hear a lot about politicians talking about jobs here and there, but I believe that jobs ultimately are the result. Jobs are a part of the equation, but they're not a solution on their own. I think when you talk about education and how we're investing in our kids and our teachers, how we're investing in our teachers who pour into our children. So I'm looking forward, when I get to the U.S. Senate, doing everything I can to facilitate the success of the state and local government. I believe that when we give parents a choice, you give children a chance. And I believe that we need to do a much, much better job protecting the American dream for kids and making sure they can be as kids as long as they possibly can, because the world is becoming a much more complicated place.
Absolutely. And in your campaign, you talked a bit about that every child in Michigan should be career or college ready when they leave high school. And do you have any thoughts of what might need to be done to start moving in that direction?
Sure. I think that we have to ensure we have responsibility as parents to not only take care of what we have going on here today, but to make sure that our children have a better future, protecting the American dream and opportunity. You know, in neighborhoods in urban and rural areas, you've been failed by the system. And it's yes, economic income inequality is a big issue. And certainly there are inequities in where people start from. But I think the opportunity inequality is what we need to address. The root causes of the fact that certain communities don't have the same benefits as others. I think this means empowering parents in our local communities, not the federal government, when it comes to educating our children. And one of the biggest reasons why I'm running is because Senator Stabenow promised to turn every failing school around back in 2012. By 2010, it's 2018, and we're still failing our kids. We have high school seniors graduating at a third grade math and a fourth grade reading level, and there's no excuse for that.
Yes. So we're talking with John James, Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate, and sort of changing subjects to another serious matter. Our foundation now is involved with the Jamie Daniels Foundation. We're now involved in the devastating effects of opioid epidemic. It's something that we read about almost every day. And what are some of your thoughts about what we can do to address this crisis in our country?
The opioid epidemic is not a partisan issue. It's a leadership issue. We are just learning, I think just yesterday, the Detroit Free Press released a report from Michigan Department of Health and Human Services that we just set a record last year in opioid deaths. Right. And the hardest hit were among Macomb County, Wayne County, Genesee County, Ingham County, Kent, all over the state of Michigan, where our family members, we're losing our family members, decimating families. We have to be smarter, faster, stronger, and more responsive to this epidemic. We have to reduce the diversion of prescription drugs and the flow of illicit drugs. We have to provide law enforcement, first responders, adequate resources. I was talking to local municipal police chiefs around the Detroit area, and they're saying they have Narcan in every vehicle now, and they have 3 to 4 hits per week, and they weren't ever seeing that before. I think treatment, expanding recovery systems of care, and measuring the effectiveness of these strategies, we have to make sure that we're doing more, coming together as a community, and quite frankly, again, this isn't a partisan issue. This is something we should all come together on to find a solution for now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very, very committed to that. And so lastly, I wanted to ask you, we're talking with John James, candidate for the U.S. Senate. Your brother, Lauren James, is a trustee of our foundation and one of the founders of our Leaders for Kids. And he was recently named CEO of the James Group International, and a company that your father started, and now laying the foundation for this successful transition. And what does it mean to you as a brother, as a son of this legacy, as an American?
Well, I don't have a story without my dad, and my brother would say the same thing. We understand and recognize the tremendous obligation that we have to serve in our community because of the blessings that we have. And my father and my mother come from Mississippi in a different time. My father himself was born in Mississippi in the Jim Crow South, 1941, lived directly across the street from Mississippi State University, and couldn't go there because he was black. But he refused to accept dependency as his destiny. He refused to be a victim. He fought in Vietnam honorably. He came over to Michigan where opportunity was, worked for Chrysler before starting a trucking company with one truck, one trailer, and no excuses. He started the company from nothing and then grew it into something that he was able to pass on to his sons. And now he set the example by working his entire life to build a better future for himself and his family. And Lauren and I will continue that legacy right here in Detroit by being mentors and being leaders in the community in Detroit, in Lansing, in Washington, that others can emulate. We're going to break the glass ceiling for opportunity for other folks, so regardless of race, who are on the low end and want to continue to get better. So it's such a tremendous blessing to be in this position, and we need to use our blessing to be a blessing to others.
Great. Well, John, thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck in the election, and say hello to your brother when you see him.
Sure will.
And safe travels. Appreciate you being on the show and for all the things that you've done in your career, particularly your military service.
Thank you so much. Go to johnjamesforsenate.com if you'd like to learn more. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter at JohnJamesMI.
That was John James, Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate. Coming up on Caring for Kids, we're going to hear from Mark Smith. Mark is the Chief Marketing Officer of Northwestern Mutual. When our show, Caring for Kids, continues, here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to Caring for Kids on WJR. Presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Once again, here's Larry Burns.
Mark Smith is the Chief Marketing Officer at Northwestern Mutual. Mark oversees marketing efforts including brand stewardship, digital, public relations, training, and mentorship, among others. That's a lot. Prior to joining Northwestern Mutual, Mark spent more than 20 years in the financial planning industry. He has executed marketing strategies in both corporate and agency structures and has worked with national brands in financial services and consumer marketing. Mark achieved his MBA through the University of Phoenix and his bachelor's degree as a Spartan from Michigan State University. Mark, welcome to Caring for Kids.
Well, thank you, Larry. Well, you make that sound really impressive.
Well, you are impressive, and you're even more impressive in person. But you're going to be very impressive on the radio, so thanks for being here. And Northwestern Mutual has a long history of philanthropic efforts, and their Troy office was recently nationally recognized for your support of child cancer programs, which is a great honor. Tell our listeners about that.
Well, I'll tell you, we're really fortunate to have the Northwestern Mutual Foundation. They're so committed to pediatric oncology that a regional and national award like this not only comes with a nice little trophy,
Yeah.
But it comes with grants to help us further the efforts that we're doing locally.
Comes with money.
It does. It does. So we're very proud of that. And, it's that money that we can put back into the efforts that we're doing locally with great partners like the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation.
Right.
And do these things that really help local children and their families to cope with a lot of the health issues they're having.
Yeah, exactly. And I mentioned Northwestern Mutual has a long history of philanthropic efforts. And I mentioned when I first met you that I knew that when I was in Toledo, because the Toledo folks did a lot of work in Toledo as well. So, so it's obviously a cultural thing, and I commend you for that. Now, I mentioned money, and this award, selfishly, it helped the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation and Northwestern Mutual develop our partnership, right?
It did, yeah.
And so tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Well, I like how you say selfishly, because you use the money in turn to help those in the community.
Right,
So selfishly, I don't know, but but yeah. So for us, we're just so fortunate to partner with the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, who has some very innovative programs. We look at the Little Champions of the Game,
yes,
which is awesome. Festival of Trees, the MAC Championships, right, all the way through the Celebration of Life, which is really impressive. For us to be a part of things like this, just really do a lot, not just for us personally to know that we're doing something bigger than just ourselves, but just to be a part of that and to help our community.
Yeah, excellent. And so I mentioned the award was based on child cancer programs. Mm-hmm. And so what are some of those things that sort of allowed you to be selected nationally for an award?
Well, we've got a culture where people love to help. They love to be part of something like that. So we have a number of people that donate their time, their talent, their financial resources to various programs. For us, we decided to take that and really come together with a few efforts. So for us, the Children's Hospital of Michigan has been something the past number of years that we've done quite a few programs with. We've got another group, Camp Casey, that we help out with, which is phenomenal. They do a horsey house call, which maybe we'll get to that later.
Okay, good.
A lot of fun. And yeah, we also did, last year we did a really fun thing for kids and their families locally. We did the superhero run.
All right, right.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was a tiny course,
right.
but allowed children to go station to station and actually collect items to make them look like a superhero at the end.
Okay.
A ton of fun.
That sounds like fun, yeah. Did you participate?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, as you should. We're talking with Mark Smith from Northwestern Mutual, one of our great partners. And as you know, if you listen to this show, they are the sponsors of the Little Champion program. And so later today, you'll hear who the October Little Champion is. And so one of the things we're delighted to be involved in, Mark, as we evolve as a community foundation for children, is that we're involved in a lot of community-based things, as you are. Mm-hmm. Not only Children's Hospital of Michigan, our great partner, but we're now involved with Boys and Girls Club, and we're involved with Loyola High School, Cristo Rey High School. So what are some of the other community engagement programs Northwestern Mutual is involved in?
So when you look nationally, there's a ton, right? A ton that we're a part of. Locally, we're very proud to kind of take our focus and really narrow it down to a couple of strong partners. Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation being one of them. For us, another one is Camp Casey that I mentioned. Right. Really with their horsey house call program, which is really, really fun. But they actually take a horse and bring it to the children's home.
A real horse.
A real horse,
okay.
Yeah. It's a ton of fun. Incredible to be a part of, because a lot of these kids are not strong enough to actually go away to camp.
They don't bring it in the home.
No, they don't bring it in the home. Not quite. But they definitely, they'll have family and friends at the home. When there's that rap at the door, the child answers it, and it's a horse.
And it's a horse.
And it's incredible. So we'll have a ton of fun. The kids will actually get to ride the horse and have a lot of fun, and just a blast. Really innovative and creative. But talk about letting the kid just be a kid for a day.
That's a great program.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned a real quick story I have to tell, because my mom listens to this show. She's I was just about to say her age, but she won't allow me. But we used to have a horse in Canada. And she used to walk the horse into the house to wake the kids up.
Wow.
Into the house.
Okay.
So you can imagine what it's like to wake up with a horse's face in your... So anyway, hello, Mom. I hope you're listening. So, well, thank you very much for all the things that you do. And I know when I was in Toledo, Northwest Mutual had a great way to recruit college students and internship programs, and that you're also yourself involved in mentoring and bringing young professionals around. And anything you want to mention about that, if somebody's listening, they're considering this career path, and what advice do you have?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's funny. It's, we're a career that allows people to be in business for themselves, but not by themselves, which is really nice. So we're just like we do with community efforts like this, we're very supportive internally. We like to see people succeed. So if somebody's interested, they can contact us.
Yeah,
We'd be happy to let them know.
Well, as you know, my nephew Brian Dugan is in your office, and he's done quite well, and he's a leader now in his field, and I know that he works with you, and he's a good man.
Oh, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll have him contact Brian.
Yeah,
we'll show
Brian.
him exactly how it's done.
Yeah, exactly, right. Well, thank you, Mark, very much, and we look forward to a long partnership with you. You're also helping us out on our Plan Giving Advisory Group, so thanks for that. And we want to thank Northwestern Mutual and all of your associates for the work that they do.
And in turn, we thank you as well. Without you, there's so much we couldn't do.
All right, well, thanks. So we look forward to a long-standing partnership. And coming up next, you're going to hear more about Northwestern Mutual when I announce the Little Champion for October, and that's when Caring for Kids continues right here on the great voice of the Great Lakes, News Talk 760 WJR.
It's Caring for Kids with Larry Burns.
Well, one of the favorite things of our job, my job, is our internship program that we have. And we have two relatively new interns in the studio that I want you to meet. First, we're going to start with Raven France. I'm going to talk to Raven in a second. And also with us is Mary Consiglio. Mary, welcome. Raven, welcome. So I'll start with Raven. Raven, tell us about where you're going to school, what you're studying, and why you think being an intern at our foundation is a good thing.
So I'm currently attending the Henry Ford College in Dearborn, Michigan. I'm studying science as of now to go into medicine in the long run.
Wow.
So there are many reasons why I feel like being an intern at the foundation is a good thing. Well, for one, it's going to leave a lasting impact because I don't just learn a lot of skills that can help me in my prospective career in the future, possibly, but I learn a lot of life skills too, and a lot of skills in different fields of study that aren't directed to mine, and, just things that I can carry on forever.
Good. That's a great answer. So I'm going to flip it over to Mary. Mary, you're our newest intern. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to school, what you're studying, and you've only been there a week, so there isn't much you've learned yet, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm currently a sophomore at Wayne State University. I'm studying marketing and design to hopefully do something in the fashion industry one day. And I guess the reason why I decided to get an internship at the foundation was so that I could do hands-on experience and projects and events that are actually making a difference in the youth of Metro Detroit.
Yeah, great. And so what do you think so far after 1 week?
It's awesome.
It's awesome. All right. You're on the radio.
Yeah.
And so have you done any other internships?
I have not.
No. Well, I commend you for only being a sophomore and looking to be an intern because traditionally being an intern usually was a senior year thing. But we hope that you're with us sophomore, junior, and senior year. So we hope that it's an extended stay for you. And so how do you like Wayne State?
Oh, I love Wayne State. Just being downtown, you just walk around and you just feel inspired all the time. Just seeing local art and all of it. It's just
the new
really cool.
Illich building for the College of Business.
Oh, it's amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we had Jill Nelson and I had a tour this past week. Our friend Steve Townsend gave us a tour. How impressive that is.
Yeah.
Not only the classrooms, but also the public meeting spaces, the views. I mentioned that, for the Thanksgiving Day to Parade, that'll be the best seat in Detroit. So, Raven, I know that you just started school again recently, and I commend you for that.
Thank you.
And so how are you liking being an intern, but also being a student?
I I actually enjoy it. At times it can be a bit stressful, but it is worth it. And like I said, you get a lot of life skills, and it's something that's a process, and it's an ongoing process. So I feel the internship is more so the highlight of it all, especially when it comes to school, because I get to do things that I enjoy.
Yeah, good. Well, the fact that you're in school and the fact that you're doing an internship will help you not only now but in the future. So, ladies, we're glad that you're part of the foundation family, and we certainly hope that your time with us is both rewarding, fun, and that you learn a lot. So, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's always great to meet new interns, and our internship program has been terrific, and it's one of my favorite things about our foundation. And so our future is bright if we continue to bring in great interns. So our future is also bright because we have a number of things coming up in October news. We have a new year-round effort called Shop for a Cause. That's when retail organizations provide us the opportunity to present information about the foundation, and then proceeds from those sales during that day or week come back to the foundation. On October 25th, California Pizza Kitchen, 20% of proceeds are back to our foundation, so thank you, California Pizza Kitchen. And there's another big day that you'll hear more about, particularly in social media, on October 27th. It's National Take Back Day, and that it's all about the opioid crisis and where to bring unused medication. So look for more of that all over the place, but certainly in our social media channels. In November, we have Shop for a Cause on the 17th. This will be a good one. Atwater Brewery, we all love beer, at least I do. 10% of the proceeds to the foundation. Thank you, Atwater Brewery. And then also on November 17th, the annual Festival of Trees starts, as well as we mentioned earlier today. Now, the Little Champion feature, we talked to Mark about Northwestern Mutual. They indeed are the organization that sponsors the Little Champion program. The Little Champion program honors children who have overcome major obstacles in their young lives, and they continue to tackle those challenges with a smile each and every day. This month, the Little Champion is 9-year-old Brandon from Royal Oak. Brandon spent 8 months in the NICU at Children's Hospital of Michigan and needed a ventilator to come home from the hospital. And he's had a real challenge, but as a true champion, he eventually outgrew the need for a ventilator. And today, he has entered the 3rd grade. Brandon is healthy. He's stronger and showing us all what it means to be a true champion. Congratulations, Brandon. This month's Northwest Mutual Little Champion. Again, thank you for joining us on Caring for Kids. The Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation is proud to sponsor this program, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. The next chance to tune in will be Tuesday, November 27th at 7 p.m. We look forward to you joining us for another exciting broadcast on Caring for Kids right here on News Talk 760 WJR.
Caring for Kids on WJR has been presented by the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation.